Hey everyone, for the last 6 days I've been staying at the Llyn Gwynant campsite, which is in Snowdonia. I've stayed here a couple of times this year and also last year, and this is my short and to the point review where I list my likes and dislikes about this popular campsite. Okay, I'm going to start off with my dislikes here. This is a big campsite and it does get busy. And you get all the associated noises and the hustle and bustle and the vibe that you would expect on a campsite of this size. Now, as I say, I've stayed here for the last 6 nights, and being honest here, 3 of those I was kept awake, gone 2 o'clock in the morning by people being a little bit rowdy, having a drink, getting louder and louder as the night went on. But it's never been an issue before out of season, so I'm just going to put this down to it being in August. You're going to get lots of people and their groups of people having a drink, and some just get a little bit loud and probably don't realise how loud they are because of the alcohol they've had. So that's all I'm going to say on that matter. Okay, moving on. Okay, number 2 is the fact that this campsite is in a valley and the ground level is only like a little bit higher than the nearby stream and the lake. And what that means is when you get rain, the ground is really muddy and boggy. And as I say, 6 days here, it's actually rained quite heavily for 3 of them, and it's really boggy all around my tent. The water isn't draining away. There's nothing they can do about it. It's just the way of the land, the shape of the land, and it's just the way it is. Okay, so most of this campsite is various sort of open fields, and you pitch your tent in there and you have to keep your tent 6 meters away from every other tent. It's obviously going to get quite busy and cramped in there if all the tents are 6 meters apart. Now, I personally prefer campsites where you've got like lots of tree cover and you've got little nooks and crannies where you can sort of pitch your tent and you almost have your own little space for you, and the trees almost act as like a boundary around you, and it feels like you've got a little bit of privacy in the campsite. It's not like this at this campsite, at least not for people that are pitching tents. There's a little bit of privacy because you have bays for some of the camper vans, the smaller camper vans, but if you're pitching your tent, you're pretty much in open fields. And as I say, it's not really my ideal type of campsite, but it's okay. It's not a major problem. It's just, it is open fields on there. Okay, I'm now going to move on to what I like about the campsite, and the truth is there is a lot to like about this campsite, and that's probably why I've stayed here several times this year and last year as well. So I will start off with the location. This campsite is sandwiched between the start of the Watkin Path and Penny Pass, which is the start of the pig and the miners track. So it's absolutely perfect if you want to explore this side of Snowdon or the nearby valley or the streams nearby. You know, it's absolutely lovely location. I also like the fact that it's not too close to the main road. There's a lot of campsites in Snowdonia which are close to the busy A5 road, and you've got lorries and buses coming past and it's quite noisy. It's not like that at this campsite. You don't hear a lot of road noise on there, which for me is great. I don't want to hear lorries driving past my tent in the middle of the night, and I've never heard that at this campsite. There is also a lovely lake at the front of the campsite, and there's a stream running down the side as well. This is really picturesque part of Snowdonia. It's also a perfect place for setting off on your kayak or your canoe. The site itself has all of the facilities and some. It really can't complain when it comes to the number of facilities here. So you've got everything from large toilet block, you've got plenty of hot showers, they've got cold showers if you've been for a swim in the lake and you just want to rinse off. They have a huge washing up area with lots of large stainless steel sinks in there. You're not short of places to wash up there at all. There's a charging area for electronic devices. You've got a small shop, and they have sort of cafe with tables outside where they serve hot and cold food, including really delicious pizzas in the evening. They also have fresh water at various points around the campsite. They also have nighttime toilets dotted around the campsite, so if you need to go for a midnight piddle, you don't have to walk all the way to the opposite end of the campsite, which I think is quite a nice touch. Well, the staff here haven't been on it when it comes to the noise, not this time around for me. They are really strict when it comes to dogs, so you need to keep your dog on a lead at all time, otherwise you're out of there. They're super strict on that, and they will go round, and I have seen them pull people up on this. So if you have a dog, they're very strict on that, and I think that's also good to know if you have young children as well. You can go there safe in the knowledge that there's not going to be dangerous dogs roaming around off of a lead. Now, there are separate bays for camper vans, so the camper vans are not on the same field as the tents, which I think is a nice touch. The camper van bays actually look quite nice because they're a little bit secluded. You've got your own sort of little spot, and they're almost like in a hedge line, and I actually really like the look of those camper vans. It's just a shame that I don't have a camper van. There is Wi-Fi in the campsite. I found it to be a little bit spotty on and off. Not going to be able to get Netflix on there or anything like that. So what do I think of the campsite? I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10, maybe even an 8 out of 10. Just the fact that it's a little bit big. I'm not a huge fan of big campsites that are in fields. It can get a little bit noisy sometimes. That's probably the only things that I don't like about it. Yeah, the toilet block could do with a little bit of a refresh in there, you know, a little bit of tidying up in there, but it's not too bad. I've been in much worse in campsites. Overall, if you like big campsites where you've got that big sort of buzz and vibe of having quite a few people there, I think you'll like this campsite. But if you prefer campsites that are essentially farmers' fields where you've only got a dozen pitches on there and it's really quiet and peaceful, it's probably not a campsite for you. I mean, this is a campsite where in the evening the whole area is just covered in smoke from all of the barbecues that are there. It really does have that nice sort of vibe and vibrancy sort of feel that you'd get in a large campsite, and that isn't for everybody. So will I be coming back to this campsite? Yes, I stay at all different campsites around in Snowdonia. I've been here before. If I'm doing a long stay here and I really need those showers and the charging points and things like that, that's when I'll come back to this campsite, and why I've been staying here for the last 6 days. Look, I hope that you've enjoyed this very short review and the footage that I've shown you. If you have any questions about the campsite, do feel free to go down in the comment section, leave a message down there. I will see it and I'll do my best to reply to you. Again, my name is Daniel. I'm also known as the Board Scrambler, and thank you for watching my short review of the Llyn Gwynant campsite in Snowdonia.